David, we don't have a lot of time left, but we do have a little bit of time, and I hate to introduce another topic, but you did also mention the death penalty as something that you're passionate about. Can you share why you're opposed to the death penalty?
At the most foundational level, Jesus said, love your enemies, and I'm pretty sure he didn't mean kill them. Even if the enemies are people who come into our houses, who kill our family members, they're still, at the end of the day, our neighbors. They're still our brothers and sisters, and we can't offer violence for violence. Like Martin Luther King said, the best weapon against violence is nonviolence. I can't justify the cost. I can't justify the loss in life. I can't justify the guilt in killing one human being, no matter how heinous their crime is for another. I think that by killing them, we're showing a lack of faith in our own correctional facilities, in our own correctional system. I think that we're showing a lack of faith in human people in general, that someone is so terrible that they don't even deserve life, something that our founding fathers said that we have a guarantee to have.
What would you say to a victim's family? Imagine speaking to a mother whose maybe son was just violently murdered. What would you say?
That is a tough question. I would probably, hypothetically, try to explain to her or help her to understand that the violence committed against her family is not okay. It's not permissible. But at the same time, the person who murdered her son has a family just like her. And while the act of violence may not be as heinous as the one she experienced, it's still the ending of a human life. It's still destroying a family. It's still taking one person who affects this world and removing them completely. And while in the heat of passion, that may sound like a great idea. That may sound like the best possible solution for that person. I think with time and thought, we realize that killing humans is still killing humans. It doesn't make it right whether or not they're a good person. We are not in a position to judge whether or not one person's life is more valuable than another's. We are blessed with life. We are so lucky to be able to do all the incredible things we do. Sports, technology, music. It's just not our right, though, to step into someone else's life and say, you don't deserve to live anymore.
Well, David, I think any of our viewers would probably say, you know, this seems like a reasonably intelligent guy, and you're young, just out of college, and you're here in the community, and I think that's a good thing. Changing things back a little bit to the personal level, why did you choose being a teacher as your profession of choice?
Well, several reasons, and I hope my high school social studies teachers don't see this. But so many people go through life in high school and middle school saying, man, I hate social studies. It's so boring. All it is names and dates. But history is more than names and dates. History is stories. It is the world we came from, and it really shapes the direction in which we're headed. My goal in a social studies classroom is to teach social studies, whether it's history, politics, economics, sociology, anthropology, in a way that is A, more informative and entertaining than it was taught to me, and B, in a way that creates a more informed citizenry for our country. I think a lot of the problems we're having right now with our government, citing specifically the war in Iraq, the failed attempts at diplomacy with countries like Iran, countries like North Korea, and our current economic status are things that could be avoided with a more informed citizenry. People who really evaluate what's going on, people who take their civic duty in voting into their own hands and say, man, I've really got some tough decisions to make. And not just on voting day, before voting day comes, in researching the candidates and looking at, okay, this is who I'm voting for, this is what they're telling me. Now, is this really what's going on? Is this really the type of person I want to represent me? And that's difficult sometimes, especially with new candidates, but we do have the luxury of online representation of who our congresspeople voted for, what they voted for, and it's our duty as citizens to remain informed. And that's something that I try to encourage my students to do, is to take their world into their own hands, is to evaluate life that's happening about them, and if they don't agree with it, to do something to change it.
Well, David, as we get very close to closing here, I have to ask, you said you studied in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Dennis Kucinich fan?
I love Dennis Kucinich. In the Cleveland area, they call him Cooch.
Really?
Very affectionately. And yeah, he's, I'm not going to say he's unlikely. I think he's a great candidate. I think he's got a lot of great ideas. I think he's not the political rock star that we see with the Hillary campaign, with the Obama campaign, with the Edwards campaign. But I think if we spend some time listening to him, we'll see that he has some great ideas and is worth listening to.
All right. Well, David, thank you for spending time with us. You've been watching The Watchful Citizen, brought to you by the Lancaster County Democratic Party. We are all volunteers here, and if you would like to volunteer on behalf of the party or learn more about the issues we talked about today, you can go to www.lancastercountydemocrats.org. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.